There is a wonderful story, and I'm told actually that it's a true story. It's told about the couple that had their first child. And they were in the hospital. The baby was born. It was a healthy boy. And after a few minutes of bonding and so forth, the baby is taken down to the nursery, put in its bassinet. Mom takes a little bit of time to recover. And then after a while, Mom and Dad said, let's go down to the nursery and see little Alex. And so they did. They walked down and they were looking through all the babies in the nursery, and they finally found their child. And on the wall over Alex's bassinet was a sign, and it said, Alex, A+. Well, they were jumping up and down, running around the hallway saying, look at what we did. We made the perfect baby. Alex got an A+. And they're carrying on and all kinds of noise and so forth. And about that time, the doctor that delivered the baby came down the hallway and he said, what's going on here? He said, Doctor, look at Alex, A+, you delivered the perfect baby. And the doctor said, I can't believe it. He said, I've never seen a couple so excited over their baby's blood type. We know that perhaps today in our country, a firefighter will be killed trying to save someone who's trapped in a burning building. We know that a police officer will die during a routine traffic stop or a call to break up a fight that goes horribly and unexpectedly bad. Today, an American serviceman or woman will lose his or her life protecting our peace and that of a people far away. And today, many good and generous souls will give their lives for the sake of others. And today, in the three-county Archdiocese of Los Angeles, 220 babies in the wombs of their mothers will die in the process that we call abortion. And these are saints. These are holy innocents. Our gospel reading today reminds us of the children who were murdered in the wake of Herod's horrific desperation to eliminate the Messiah King. Every time and place has suffered the loss of innocent men, women, and children who die as a result of injustice, of violence, and oppression. Every day we are reminded that this Herod-like insanity continues to exist, that these times require us to continue to be men and women who are willing to give our lives for the sake of justice, compassion, and peace. As disciples of Jesus, we cannot be indifferent or complacent to any human being who is in need. Society has the duty to protect its people. And that's why there are laws which prohibit child molestation, robbery, murder, and so on. And we need laws to protect the unborn. And we should work for such legislation. But we must also recognize that laws are not enough. We have laws against drugs to little avail. We have laws against drunk driving. Yet thousands of people are injured and killed each year by drunk drivers. What we need is a change in mind and in heart within our people. Today, Jesus continues his journey through life. He still lives in the unborn, the hungry, the homeless, the immigrant, and the criminal. And he reminds us that whatever we do, even to the least of our brothers and sisters, we do to him. Sadly and unfortunately, there are those today who have accused Pope Francis of being soft on abortion. But listen to what he says in his apostolic exhortation, The Joy of the Gospel. He says this, he says, among the vulnerable for whom the Church wishes to care with particular love and concern are unborn children, the most defenseless and innocent among us. Nowadays, efforts are made to deny them their human dignity and to do with them whatever one pleases, taking their lives and passing laws preventing anyone from standing in the way of this. Frequently, as a way of ridiculing the Church's effort to defend their lives, attempts are made to present her position as ideological, obscurantist, and conservative. Yet, this defense of unborn life is closely linked to the defense of each and every other human right. It involves the conviction that a human being is always sacred and inviolable in any situation and at every stage of development. Human beings are ends in themselves and never a means of resolving other problems. And once this conviction disappears, he says, so do solid and lasting foundations for the defense of human rights, which would always then be subject to the passing whims of the powers that be. Reason alone is sufficient to recognize the inviolable value of each single human life. But if we also look at the issue from the standpoint of faith, every violation of the personal dignity of the human being cries out in vengeance to God and is an offense against the Creator of the individual. And he continues, the Church cannot be expected to change her position on this question. I want to be completely honest in this regard. This is not something subject to alleged reforms or modernizations. It is not progressive to try to resolve problems by eliminating a human life. On the other hand, it is also true that we have done little to adequately accompany women in very difficult situations where abortion appears as a quick solution to their profound anguish, especially when the life developing within them is the result of rape or a situation of extreme poverty. Who can remain unmoved before such painful situations? So our Holy Father is very strong and is making no change in that regard. And we need to hear the depth and the anguish of his words. And I think that we need to remember that each of the 220 babies aborted today in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles has a mother and a father. And each of them has a story which we need to know and understand. Perhaps the pregnancy was a result of rape or incest. Perhaps the parents are jobless, some even for a very long time now, and simply cannot afford another child. Perhaps the person is single and very much alone and afraid. Perhaps there is illness or confusion or even hopelessness. Pope Francis says that we must walk with these men and women and seek to understand their pain and their circumstances. We need to give them hope and comfort and reassurance. Here in the Archdiocese, we have been doing just that, thanks to our pregnancy counseling centers, thanks to Project Rachel, thanks to our Right to Life groups in nearly all of our parishes, thanks to our many parishes who collect funds and articles so that those who choose to have their babies are supported after the baby is born. We are not a church of the no. We are a church that welcomes, accompanies, supports. We are a church of hope and life for babies and their mothers and fathers. And I think this is the gospel of joy. And I think that we have to do a better job of being evangelizers. That is, I think that we have to do a better job of letting people know that we will not condemn them or put them down or make them outcasts. We will not judge them. We are not strident naysayers. When they come to us, we will receive them. We will walk with them. We will accompany them. We will help them. Everyone in this whole world, I think, knows that we are a church of life, that we oppose abortion. But I think that we need to do a better job of letting people know that they can come to us under any and all circumstances and find a welcome, a helping hand, a supportive ear, a friend to walk with them even in an unwanted pregnancy, a pregnancy that is surrounded by painful and difficult circumstances, that we will not judge and condemn them, that we will only walk with them in love and kindness and caring. We will support them. We will help them. You see, for too many, I think, the perception, and I want to say that it is a perception, the perception is that we are the last people you should turn to in a problem pregnancy. It's not true. And we need to work on changing that perception. The whole world ought to know that we are a church of life, but the whole world ought to know that in a problem pregnancy, we are their best friends. We are their loving and caring and understanding friends who will accompany them and be with them throughout the process. I think that each of you gets an A+ for the work that you are doing. And I can just imagine God in heaven doing a little dance of joy and happiness as he looks upon our efforts, and he says, there they are, they're my A+ers. Tonight's reading from the book of Revelation reminds us God's dwelling is with the human race. He shall dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will always be with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death or mourning, wailing or pain, for the old order has passed away. Behold, I make all things new.